Let's talk digiscoping. Welcome back to the Elk-Shaped Gear channel, where we help you make more informed decisions on your gear purchases. Today I'm going to go over several different digiscoping options that I've used in years past and a bunch of them that I tested this spring and summer to see what I liked, what I didn't like, the pros and cons to each one, and I'm going to go through each one of those now. I've got several different options out here on the table for you. No particular order on this. It's just kind of what I've used in the past and then how I tested them this summer. To start with, we've got this cheap digiscoping option from Amazon. It's like 20 bucks for this device. The drawback I don't like is that it's kind of bulky. How I ended up setting it up was I would set this clamp so I could slide my phone in, and then on the back here you adjust this little eyepiece to fit over the lens you want to use, tighten that down, and then you would go to your optics, set this over top of your eye cup, tighten it down, and you're ready to start digiscoping. Turn your phone on, you'll be able to see through your optics that way. The con to this one is it kind of is a little bit finicky to get adjusted just right for your phone, and it can be bumped pretty easy. The major pro is that it's only about 20 bucks, so it's the cheapest option out there, and it does work. It's just a little bit cumbersome to get put on and put into service. The other thing I don't really love about it is when it is on your phone, it's really bulky on your phone, so you can't just throw it in your pocket. You basically end up taking it on and off. And if you're like me and you forget things a lot, last year I left one of these out in the woods. I'd been digiscoping, I pulled it off, I pulled the adapter off, I set it down, and I ended up walking away and left it there. The good news is it's only 20 bucks, not a big deal. I ordered another one on Amazon when I got home. The next option is what Dan has been using and I've run the last couple of years, which is MagView. Nice thing about MagView is you can use whatever phone case you have. You take the magnet that comes with the system, you put it on the back of your phone, attach it there, and then it's always on your phone. It's super slim design that you don't even notice it's on there. You can get the MagSafe compatible one, so you could still charge your device through the MagSafe charging system and use different MagSafe attachments if that's something you do. Then you have the little eyepieces. This is for a binocular. It attaches to your eye cup. You do have to get this kind of specific to your binocular that you're going to use, but they do have multiple different spacers that come with the system, so it will hook up to a few different optics. And then you have the one for the spotter. Once you get this attached to your optic, it stays with the optic. You can't just pull it on and off. You won't lose it because it's always attached there, and it does act as a lens cover for you, so you're not getting dirt and debris and scratching your expensive lenses. I do like that part of it. The drawback to the MagView is that it's a little bit more cumbersome to get that lens lined up perfectly with your eyepiece. So it does take a little bit of a finesse to do. Once you use it a few times, it's not too hard, and it's pretty quick. The biggest advantage to the MagView system is that it's super sleek. You never have to worry about losing it. If you lost the ability to do your digiscoping, it's because you either lost your optic or you lost your phone, and those are all bigger problems. The next one I used was this OnGlass system. It's a pretty slick system. You have various eyepieces that attach to your optics. They do attach to a variety of different sizes. Kind of the thing that I didn't really love is if you have a size of your eyepiece that's not quite the same as one of their eyepieces, you use these rubber bands as spacers to get a little bit tighter fit, which does work. It's just not, in my opinion, a super optimal situation because it's just a snug fit, and it would be better if they had more options for the eyepiece to get the exact fit for whatever optic you're using. Once you get the eyepiece in place, to attach your phone, you simply put the phone adapter piece and it clicks in. You can adjust it to where you can have vertical or horizontal video, whichever one you prefer. The other good thing about the OnGlass is you can use any phone case you want. It comes with these little tabs that you stick to your phone, and I'll show you how to do that. They do also make a MagSafe attachment that sticks to your phone if you have the MagSafe option, but this will work with any phone. You just stick this onto the back of your phone case, or you could stick it directly to your phone. So it will work with any phone case you have. So if you have a phone case that you absolutely love and you don't want to use a different phone case while you're digiscoping, this would be a good option for you. To attach the little tab, it's really easy to do. It comes with this handy guide in the package already. So, and it comes with a couple of 3M stickers. So all you have to do is take this sticky off, put it on the back of this tab. Basically what you're gonna do is take this, line up for an iPhone, which is what I have. You use the one hole, you line it up with your lens that you wanna use. I find it easiest to use the single magnification, your standard lens, not your zoom lens, for most digiscoping adapters. I find it's a little bit more finicky to use the zoom lens. However, you can zoom in more. In my opinion, it's way easier just to use the one power lens and just roll with that. So you're gonna take this, the tab goes up. So you're gonna find your lens you want to use, center this hole on the lens, and you do want to make sure you get this dialed in really well, otherwise you're going to be off a little bit. But then this cutout, you simply put the piece in here, the tab in there, press it down nice and hard, and now you hook it up and you're ready to go. Should be nice and lined up, which it is. You can see that it's nice and lined up. This does have an option to get the lens cover too as well, which does snap in with the magnet as well. The system is nice that you can have it set up like this, and your glass is always protected with the lens cover. I found though that using the optics with this oversized ring wasn't my favorite. I ended up just popping this whole thing off most of the time and running it that way. The drawback to doing that is that when you're putting it on and off in the field, you're gonna have to recenter your optic on whatever you're trying to digiscope to get it center in your phone. Like I said, it's pretty easy. You just slide it on like so, attach your phone adapter to it, line it up however you want to. It magnetizes right where you need it to, so it centers on your eyepiece every time, and this works really good. There was a couple of times where I had the sun was kind of at my back, and if you look at this, when this is on, if you have a big eyepiece, the phone doesn't cover all of the glass, so if you get the sun just right, kind of at your back and to your side, you can get some sun flare on that. It's really simple to overcome that by just covering that part with your hand while you're taking your photos or running your camera. It is pretty easy. I just noticed that on one of my outings that it did have a little bit of a sun flare to it. Just something to be aware of as you're using it. All in all, is a good option. It's a fairly reasonable price point. They also have a dash adapter. So this piece, if you have like an ATV or in your truck, you want to attach your phone to your dash, you can put this on your dash of your car, and then it just marries up with that magnet, and you can have it hands-free in your car. The next one is Epoch Outdoors, or Epoch, however you pronounce it. They have an adapter that works with your MagSafe compatible devices, whether that's directly to your phone or a phone case that is MagSafe compatible. It's pretty simple. This thing just magnets in place. You can use either the 1x or your zoom lens You do have to get this piece specific to the phone that you're using so that it lines up the digiscoping device with your camera lens. Then all you need is the piece that goes on your optics itself. They've got a ton of different sizes so that they fit very nicely. This is the Vortex Furies. I have it already installed on one of them. It's very nice that it's pretty slim design. There's not a lot of oversized material around the eyepiece. And then everything clips into with these magnets. So you can do vertical, you can do horizontal, whatever floats your boat, whatever you want to do. You can even do it back the other direction. So I really do like this system in the fact that I can leave this piece on glass. The only thing that I noticed is that it takes a little bit of getting used to, because when you put the glass up to your eye, you see these kind of shiny magnets kind of in your periphery. It took me a little bit to get used to having that there. It was a little distracting at first, but once I started using it, I got used to it. And now when I'm glassing, I lock in my tripod. My glass is already where it needs to be. And then I just simply hook up my phone to the device and I'm ready to start videoing or taking photos, whatever I want to do. And it is also compatible, super simple, just switch it over. You can use the zoom lens as well. They also make a eyepiece cover that magnetize into the same magnets that are already on the device, and it comes with a tether so you can hook it onto your optic, cinch it down, and now you don't have to worry about losing your eye cup cover. You just simply pop it off, do your digiscoping, and then pop her back on and you're ready to go. Epoch Outdoors also makes a pretty cool device that hooks up to your tripod with the Arca Swiss compatible head, and then you're able to take your phone and just magnet it to the device. It pops on, pops off really quick. So if you're taking video, or if you just want to get photos of your trophy once you harvest something, you can stick this on here and take your photos, and it's easy to adjust to whichever orientation you want your phone to be in, either horizontal or vertical. And if you don't have your tripod's not exactly level, you just spin your phone till it is level and you take your photos that way. I've been using this a lot in the gym and just out in the woods for self-portraits and stuff like that, to make it super quick and simple to get my phone on a tripod and then take the photos I want to get. That is an extra option that Epoch Outdoors has that the other companies don't. You don't have to use their digiscoping system. You can just buy this separately and use it if that's something you're into. The next digiscoping solution that I used was the original PhoneSkope. They now have two different cases. One of the drawbacks to PhoneSkope is you do have to use their case with their system. And so if you don't really love their cases for day-to-day use, you end up having an extra case, and then you have to swap your phone out when you go out in the woods to do your digiscoping. But they do work really well. They've got a carbon fiber version and then just the OG plastic version. Phone pops in there pretty easily. It's a little bit bulkier than I like for a phone case, but they do work. The plastic one has this system where you can use both your 1 zoom lens and your 5 zoom lens by just sliding it back and forth. It has a little keeper that keeps it in place. And then you take your adapter for your optic that you're going to use. So I found that it was much easier to, rather than have this piece on here like this and then try and hook my phone up and click it in like so, it was much easier for me just to have the eyepiece stuck into the phone case and slide it on like so, and off to digiscoping I was going. This made it really nice to be able to swap from the 5 to the 1 lens really easy, quickly. just like that. Back on you go, and you're in business. I ended up using the carbon fiber one, which I felt was a much better phone case. It just feels a little bit beefier. It's a little bit more slim design. It does have shock absorbing corners on it. So if you do drop this while you're out in the woods, it should protect your phone fairly well. It still has the MagSafe compatible magnet on it, so you can charge your phone, or if you wanted to use this with that case, still works. I also liked this piece better on the carbon fiber. This is made out of aluminum, and it slides into this little groove here on the case, and then it made it a lot easier to go from your 1 lens to your 5 lens just by sliding this back and forth. And that MagSafe compatible magnet is what kind of holds it in place. Again, I would just stick my whatever adapter I was using right into the piece, and then find my game in my spotting scope, slide that on, and off to videoing I go. That is the different options from PhoneSkope. They do have a plethora of different eyepieces, and you do have to get the eyepiece that is compatible with your optics that you're going to be using. So you may, if you use multiple different optics out in the field, you're going to have multiple of these little eyepieces. You can hook them directly onto your optic and leave it there. It is a little bit of bulk around it, which I don't love, because when you're glassing, you end up bumping into that a lot. But that is the option that's there. And so it's kind of up to you what you prefer. The next one that we have is one that you guys are probably fairly familiar with. This is the Ollin system. It has a pretty nice case that's fairly sleek. You are able to use all of your buttons on your iPhone, and it's set up. The downside to the Ollin system is you can only use your 1x magnification lens, and that's it. Using your 5x can be a little bit more difficult to do, especially out in the field. You got to kind of mess around with your camera settings to get it to lock into that 5x lens, and I've always seemed to have issues to where I generally just use the 1x lens regardless and don't even mess with it. It's much faster, much easier. The other thing I don't absolutely love on this one is that this plate does stick out a little bit farther from your phone. It's not bad, you can still stick it in your pocket, it's not a big deal. It's a little bit more streamlined than some of the others, but it does stick out there, so something to be aware of. For the Ollin system, you also have to get the adapter that goes with your specific optic. So you stick that on there. It's just compression fitting. It is quite a bit of material around the eyepiece, so like I really can't use my binoculars with this eyepiece on, but it is pretty simple to push on there and when you're ready to digiscope. And if you're using your spotter, it's not as big of a deal because the spotters usually have a pretty big, especially this one has a pretty big eyepiece anyway, so when you put that on, it's not that much bigger and you can use it that way. Stick that on, and then your phone just magnets to it. Your eye cup moves, so like you got to figure out where you want that to sit. I find that it's best to have them all the way in for your digiscoping. It gets that lens much closer to your eye lens than when the eye cup is all the way out. I just find that it's a little bit better that way. I get better results. With this, it's pretty easy to go from horizontal to vertical. You just switch the orientation of your phone and you're off to the races. This is a great system, and they do have the option to get a eyepiece cover. This is more for your spotting scopes. So once you put your spotting scope adapter onto your spotting scope, this piece just slides in there and magnets in. It's got a tether so you won't lose it. The Ollin is a pretty good option for a quick, accurate digiscoping, and it comes with the eyepiece cover, which I really like. The other drawback to the case that I found is that when you have your case, if you're somebody who takes a lot of video and a lot of photos while you're out in the field with the phone in this case, you're only going to be able to use your 1x lens, which for most of us isn't that big of a deal. But if you want to use your wide angle or your zoom lens on your phone, you're going to have to pop your phone out of the case to use those features. The last one I tested is called the Kapture system. The biggest thing that I noticed that I really love about the Kapture system is the phone case itself. I ended up using this phone case as my everyday phone case because it worked so well and was built very nice. It's got a nice texture that I'm not going to drop it. It doesn't slip out of my hand, and it's just as sleek as most any other phone cases on the market. It is MagSafe compatible. This is the iPhone 16. You do have this metal or aluminum guard around your lenses, and so it could potentially scratch something if you laid it down on it and moved it. I don't have that issue, so I've just been using this case as my everyday case. To put this into service, it is a little bit more tricky than the other ones because it comes with these magnet pieces that you have to attach via this 3M tape. I've been using this for quite a while on multiple different optics, and I've already have them installed. As you can see here, that is already the piece right inside, and it goes around your eyepiece. It doesn't obstruct any of your usability of the optic, and it sits inside the eye cup. So as you move the eye cup in and out, that piece doesn't move. The other cool thing about Kapture is that if you have some of the high-end optics that you can remove the eye cup from, like this, you can actually get this piece with the metal piece already installed directly from Kapture, and you just simply unscrew your eye cup off of your binoculars, screw in the new eye cup, and you're ready to go, which is a pretty phenomenal option in my opinion. If you don't have that option for your particular optic, you do have the ability to hook these up to any optic out there. It just takes a little bit more work. It comes with these installation tools. This piece has that 3M tape already installed on the one side. You have to take this cover off the tape, you attach it to this installation device like so, and then when you're putting it on your optic, you can line it up however you see best to where it's going to be in line with the way you're going to use your optic. If by chance you don't get it perfectly lined up, not a big deal. When you go to put this into service, you do have this piece. You can leave it hooked into your phone all the time if you want to, but it does add a little more bulk to the phone case itself. I found that this was still easy to slide in and out of my pocket, and it didn't catch on anything, and it's still pretty well within the footprint of the phone. But these pieces go into this attachment like so, and then you can micro adjust these pieces around to where everything lines up the way you want it to, and then you can hook this onto your optics like so. It's magnetized, so it hooks up with those grooves every time. There's grooves on the piece that goes on your optic, and there's grooves on the piece that goes on your phone, so that as you put them together, those pieces line up and align your camera lens perfectly with your objective lens on your optics every time. I found that this system was very simple once you got it installed to use. I really enjoy using this one. You do kind of have to like line it up a little bit as you're putting it in, but it sticks in there really nice. The things I do love about this system is that it fits with inside the eye cup piece, so I can use these with the metal piece inside there, and I don't have to take it on or off. It's always there. If I find my game that I want to take a picture of, I lock my tripod down, stick my device. It's a lot easier when you have it on a tripod. Stick it on there, locks in, and you're in business. I don't have to worry about my phone rotating around. If I want to go horizontal, I can do that as well. And like I said, because it's not hooked to the actual eye cup, there's no moving parts to it, and it stays right there where I set it. I don't have to worry about accidentally moving it. The drawback to the system is that you can't just take the eye cup piece off and go to a different optic. You have to get one of these rings for every piece of optic that you have, and then they come in multiple different sizes, so you need to match the size of your eyepiece lens to the metal ring. You do have to marry up the size of your metal ring with the size of the eyepiece that goes to your phone. The way this works is you've got your phone case with that Kapture system in there. Figure out what size the ring on the optic. It's printed on the actual ring itself. So this one is a 2. I look at my adapter piece. It's got 2 little indents on it that indicates that it's a size 2. So then I marry that up with my Kapture system on my phone, like so. And now I can go to digiscoping on my binoculars. But now when I want to go from my binoculars to my spotter has a different size piece, and that is a size 4. So I have to take this piece out, grab the size 4, slide it in, which pretty quick and simple, and then I can marry it up with my optics and I'm digiscoping. You do have to have the different pieces to match the different optics that you're using, and so there's a few more pieces than most of the other options out there. They're nice and small. Pro to that is you can stick them in your bino harness, you can stick them just about anywhere, but they would be a lot easier to lose, and then you're gonna have to buy a replacement if you do lose them. All in all, I found that the Kapture system was very easy to use. I really enjoyed it. I really love the fact that the metal piece stays with the optic at all times, so I don't have to worry about you losing that. The only thing I have to keep track of is this little piece and the eyepiece adapters. It's so small that hopefully I'm not going to set it down somewhere and accidentally leave it there. It's small enough that I can slide it in my bino harness. When I'm out in the field, I usually just keep it all attached to the phone. I can still stick this in the pocket, however it is a little bit more bulky. My biggest concern with this device is potentially losing one of the pieces with it. Thanks for tuning in to the Elk-Shaped Gear channel. I hope this video has helped you make more informed decisions on your gear purchases. I've used all of these digiscoping options out in the field, and these are my honest opinions on what I think. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below which option you'll be using this fall on your next hunt, and until next time, I hope you have an awesome adventure.